All right, so for today, we are going to start another writing assignment. But this one will be fun because not only is it creative, it is going to be about your grandparents. So you guys will have the next couple of days. Tomorrow your rough draft will be due. And then I will go over your rough drafts with you, because what I would like to do is once we get your final work done, then we can get them laminated. So if you would like, you can give them to your grandparents as keepsakes. So what we are going to be writing is pretty much thank you letters for your grandparents. They can be one paragraph, they can be as long as 5 paragraphs, however long you need to say thank you. You can also include more than one grandparent if you would like to. I think there's a couple of you in here that will be wanting to read them out loud on Wednesday next week. A couple. Because you guys will go up and talk in front of people if you would like, only if you want to. I thought they said there's like 2 in this class that wanted to. So anyways, today we are going to start with writing our thank yous to our grandparents. So these are the 4 concepts that I want you guys to think about while you're writing your thank you note. So the first one is identify the person. Yes?
What if we don't necessarily add things?
Okay, that was another thing that I was going to cover too. If you do not have a grandparent, do you have someone in your life that you consider almost like a grandparent? Okay, if you would like to write a thank you to your aunt, uncle, mom, or dad, if you do not have grandparents, like for example, I do not have a grandparent, so I could write a thank you to someone who I look up to as a grandparent or a parent figure. Does everyone in here at least have someone that they have like as a mentor in their life? Someone that they look up to that they can write a thank you for? Is there anybody that does not? Everybody does? Okay, perfect. Then even though if you do not have grandparents, it's okay. You can pick out someone that you know that you would consider to be like a mentor or someone who you look up to. So we need to identify this person, whether they're a friend's grandparent maybe, or your aunt, your uncle, even your mom or your dad if you don't have grandparents. Why their actions are meaningful to you. What type of a role do they play in your life? Do they spend weekends with you? Do you go to their house on the weekends? Do they come and pick you up for special occasions? You know, do you have family dinners with them? Do they come to all of your games, whether that's baseball games or volleyball games? Do they come to your cross country? Do they come to school functions? Just different things of why their actions are meaningful to you. It could be just as easy as them picking you up and taking you to McDonald's. And then use experiences in your letter. Talk about an experience with them that you've had that's meaningful to you. And then use specific details and emotions. It's first Tuesday. It's okay. So we need to use details and emotion. So emotions are feelings. So we're going to use describing words, right? About how they make us feel. Do they make you feel warm and cozy? Do they make you laugh a lot? Some grandparents love to bake, so whenever you smell cookies, you think of your grandma or your grandpa. For example, whenever I smell watermelon, I think of my dad. I grew up without grandparents around, really, so whenever I smell watermelon, it reminds me of my dad, because we always had fresh cut watermelon when we went to see him on the weekends. So use examples, give me lots of details, at least give me half of a page for your thank you letter. And let's write it as a thank you letter. So down at the bottom you can write love, from, sincerely, and then your name down at the bottom. So when we do this paper today, it is going to not have your name underneath the title. You will still have a title, but your name will be down at the bottom. Has anybody in here wrote a thank you note before? Pretty much everybody, right? Because we did you guys do thank yous for veterans?
Yep.
Yep, okay. So, let's go ahead and, do you guys all have your computers? Remember, your title is going to be no larger than a size 16. And it's going to be a little bit bigger than your actual font for the main body of your thank you note. Huh?
Did you put it in like a
Yeah, you can always, if you need to make the font a little bit bigger this time, that's perfectly fine, because if you do have grandparents that can't see very well, I didn't even think about that one, then yes, you can make your font a little bit bigger so that they're able to read it. That doesn't mean that it needs to, you know, that can be any shorter.
So like it doesn't have to be so like you don't want it massive, but you don't want it like
Too small either, correct. So I would say no, I think they should be able to read size 14 font. Fine. All right, and then after we are done printing them out, after we do our revise and edit tomorrow, when we turn in our final, I will print them out, and then you guys can decorate them however you would like. You know, for the girls, you can put hearts on them or decorate them however you want, and then we will laminate them. Does anybody have any questions? No? Lila. Oh, it's okay.
What happens if it's like it's the first Tuesday of the month and there's like an extra Sunday?
I know, I've thought about that before.
I think about all the time. Cause like it's raining outside. Like,
I would assume that they would stop, but then they would probably run it again,
But like what?
because they already did the test, so the test is over. So I'm assuming that if they were to run it again, that's when you should worry, or if it lasts for longer than it normally does for testing. Yes.
When you also get like alerts on your phone.
Yeah, usually you get alerts on your phone if there's a tornado. We're just supposed to get rain today, guys. Nothing crazy. All right, Aaron. Did you have a grandma or grandpa that you're gonna be writing about? No. Who are you gonna write about? Still thinking? Okay. Alright. Also, remember to double space your lines. Bless you. Who's writing a funny experience about their grandparents? Funny? A funny memory?
I'm probably gonna add like lots of it.
A what?
Like lots of them.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Like, I
fine.
probably will have like some funny ones, but like also
Who in here mostly sees their grandparents like during the holidays? Who sees them all the time? I love that.
That's your old mom. She lives right next door.
Oh, that's even better. That's great. No. You're gonna choose someone else to write about it? You don't have to write about a grandparent. Not everyone has a grandparent.
It was like fading out. Or something that's part of me. It's just fading out.
That's called grief. That's called grief. That's rough. That's rough.
Do you double space?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. If you have separate grandparents but do not plan on reading or giving them anything, you can actually put it on the same thank you. If you wanna thank multiple, like a grandma and a grandpa maybe, separate, different sides of the family, maternal, which is mom's side, paternal, which is dad's side. You can do 2 separate ones if you want, or, like I said, we can put it all together on one. If you have multiple people you wanna thank, it's fine. But it should be at least 10 to 12 sentences, which is about half a page. Okay. You can, I will never complain if you guys wanna write more. You will never hear me complain. If you end up writing more, but just no less than half a page. Yeah, you can write it like an actual letter. You can say, dear, or you can just start off by saying, I just wanna say thank you. This is creative writing, so it's you just being creative. Is it for both the grandma and the grandpa? Call their grandma. Name. Perfect, okay, that works too. Also, while you're writing, remember to name specific details, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, a certain vacation you guys went on. Do a lot of you guys go on vacations with your grandparents? Yeah. Do you have any yet? Remember to double space between your sentences. If you don't know how to do that, just let me know. Remember, when you have a title, especially if it's only 2 words, they both get capitalized. It's always the first and the last word, and all the important words throughout are capitalized. I think it's the type, is it? No, it's the font that makes it look extra wide. Alright, so I will give you guys another 15-20 minutes. If you happen to get done in that amount of time, I did set up a link in Google Classroom for your rough draft. And then tomorrow, we'll trade papers and we'll revise and edit. Okay, so good. Are you doing better? Get to capitalize your title, okay? Alright, I put up on the board a couple of things just to make sure you guys do cover those. Check your title, make sure it's double spaced, make sure you indent, and then make sure you put your name under the title or at the bottom, like if you're writing a letter. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna do sincerely, comma, and then, yep, space that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, it's usually on the left-hand side. So remember guys, if you're doing it like a letter, you're going to put love or sincerely, comma, and then your name goes underneath. That's if you're writing it in like a letter form. I'd say at least 10 to 12. So that equals up to about half a page. If it's double spaced, it might be a little bit longer than half a page. How many sentences do you have? That's your 10th one? Yep.
So I have to work on writing this one. Work on writing it.
Yes, if whenever you are done and you want to send it in, you can send it into Google Classroom. And then you can work on your reading projects, which I will go over more when there are more people that are done, after our time is up for English.
So is it okay if I work on math right now, so that way?
Do you know how, I've already went through these instructions. Do you know which ones you're going to do? Have you already figured it out? Did you have any questions? I can answer them for you right now. I can talk to
Well,
you.
I just found my sheet, I tried.
If you want, you can go make copies of this, if you need to. Send it down to the office if you are completely done. You think you're done? Here, let me see what you got.
It's good enough, I suppose.
That's a good one. Just make sure. Do you see how I have that up there? Your name goes underneath. So just put the cursor in front of the A and press enter and it'll put it directly underneath.
Like this.
Yep, like that. You did a good job. Did you already put it in the link?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have this, your novel study?
I don't think I
Okay. Did you find yours, David? No.
I'm ready, Mom, I'm not sure.
Aaron, would you like to go down to the office and have 5 copies of these made?
did. Sure.
So I can give you one, and if anybody else needs one, have Mrs. Coachella help you. You won't need your pencil though, bud. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Portion of this.
Yes, so you would sketch him, but you would, and then underneath that list 3 different character traits for each one of the characters. So, for each, you describe how they possess this trait using examples from the story. So you would draw what you think that they would look like. I mean, most of you guys aren't, I'm not even an artist, so I'm not good with drawing, but the main thing is to list 3 different character traits. Because how many main characters do you have? 2? Okay, then you would just do the 2.
Well, 3.
Okay, then you would do all 3. And then underneath your drawing, you would list the 3 different characteristic traits.
Oh, so it's, but it says for one of the characters.
For each, describe, oh, okay, yes, then you pick one character, you list 3 different character traits for one of the characters, and then for each of the traits, you describe how they possess those traits using examples from the story. How are you guys doing on your letter?
Yes, that shows outside.
Mhm. Paragraph. So you're writing actual, like a story about them, instead of like a thank you.
Like kind of like, no, it's like, I was writing it, thank you, but this is.
Okay.
If you want me to just leave it all in one paragraph.
You can make it into two. If you think it would flow better that way, then yes, I would put it into 2 paragraphs. Especially if you're talking about more than one grandparent. Like, you can thank both of them, but then if you're talking about just one experience with one grandparent, I would take a second paragraph and talk about the other grandparent. Yes, Ellie.
Sincerely, whatever. You're fine.
Yeah, that's the way it's gonna be, I know, because of, if you think that it looks weird, what we can do is when we print it out, you can always write on there, handwritten, love, or sincerely.
Oh, no.
Okay, because I know it would look kind of weird when it's separated.
Okay, we need to let.
No,
Yes,
you're okay with your
yes.
idea. Oh, you're right there.
Are you okay? Are you stuck? Are you stuck? Can you help?
Okay, that was,
Hi.
it's one time birthday, Margaret said.
You don't have to read it out loud.
I want to, but there's so many words that I can't even describe them and what I thought about.
No, it's not.
And that's the thing, people like to explain their stories.
You could always let the boys work, David.
How about you turn around, David? And put your computer on your desk?
That's why it's emotions. So think about the emotions that you feel and describe them. As hard as it might be. And sometimes it's hard to pinpoint emotions, but if you think hard enough, sometimes you can. If you need extra help, you can come in during study hall if you want, and I can help you out. Did that fall?
Yeah.
That's okay. It's like putty that's on there, so it doesn't take off the paint.
Like safety pack?
Yeah. But I think because it's raining, it's moisture in the air.
What did that the other day?
How are you doing, Bo? Good. Cash, you doing all right? Okay. How far along are you, Ryder? Go up and yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's why I made it creative. So you can either write like a letter based or you can write a story. Just make sure to use details and emotions. We're gonna do real experiences, right? Well, I mean,
I took my grandparents to Mars someday.
you never know. You never know. It was Creative Friday. I'll probably ask again next week too, but who here knows for a fact that they would like to stand up and read this to their parents? I mean, their grandparents, sorry, or whoever you wrote it to. Serena? Leah? Okay, keep your hands up. I'm going to write these names down just so I know. And if you decide last minute that you do, or you want to be added, that's fine too. Serena, Gavin, Leah. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Huh? No, that's perfect. technical, you could put it in italics.
I don't think I thought underlined.
No, usually titles are underlined, these generally aren't. But you can put it in italics to show that it's show. All right, you guys have about 4 more minutes.